Knife Reviews. This is my host, Joshua Hightower.
Welcome to Knife Reviews. I'm your host, Joshua Hightower, and this is my partner, Evan Hightower.
Hey!
Today we're bringing you a knife called the Spyderco Bushcraft. This one is an 8 3/4 inch overall length, has a 4.1 inch cutting blade, G10 black handles, contoured, ergonomically designed for your hand. It fits in there perfectly. It's pinned in 2 places with a lanyard hole. It's a Scandi ground knife. The fit and finish on this knife is very attractive, very aesthetically pleasing. With the Bushcraft knife, we want to go over 5 categories that we want to test it in. The first category will be batoning and chopping, then cutting, feather sticking, spine scraping and usage, and then we'll go into ferro rod usage. Right off the bat, I point out that this knife has a very neat design. It's a little different. It has a slight drop point blade, and it has a very curved down handle, but what it ends up doing is pushing the handle right into the palm of your hand. It makes it very comfortable and it's very grippy. I've come to really enjoy this G10 handle. We're gonna go ahead and get started with chopping and batoning, and we'll see how it does.
Where's my head?
I would like to point out
my arm.
that the knife has a very ergonomically designed handle, and it feels very good in your hand, and it makes it easy to choke back on it. That little curvature right there puts it into your hand where you can grip it really well. There you go. This is a very dry, about 1 3/4 inch red cedar, and right off the bat I'm going to tell you I've not had anything chop this well before. Chopping it really well. We're going to go ahead and get straight in to batoning. Just want to point out, we went straight through a knot, and I did this one on purpose because I wanted to see how it stuck up to the knot. And I don't know if you can see this on camera, but that knot went all the way through, and that's a clean cut right through that knot. And with no knot, it chops right through it. Three knots, no problem. I'm going to intentionally baton very high up on the blade. So as you can see, a little dirty, but it's gone very, very impressive. No nicks, no dings, no issues whatsoever. Hit it pretty hard back here on the handle. The handle put up with it very, very well. Obviously, you've heard me say it before, edge retention is important. Edge integrity after batoning and chopping is important. And this is keeping its edge very, very fine. No issues whatsoever on that. So for the first category, with batoning and chopping, I found with this curved handle, you're able to get a very unique grip on it. Many times you choke back on the blade so you can get a very quick chopping motion on it, and a lot of times that will give you a compromised grip on your knife. This is giving you a very, very safe grip on this knife, and it has an impressive weight distribution throughout the blade, so that when you're chopping, it's giving you very strong swings. I'm very, very impressed with it. Batoning, it was going through knots like it was nothing. Absolutely impressed with that. Very happy with it. I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 on batoning and chopping. The next category that we want to go over is cutting. What I can tell you right off the bat is this thing is just taking chunks out. I'm actually quite impressed. And then if I want to get nimble with it, it's really just impressive. I mean, folks, we're talking about a production knife that has some impressive cutting qualities. And it's not just cutting well throughout the sweet spot, it's cutting well on all portions of this blade.
It cuts good.
And we're able, if you can see that, we're able to take off some that's paper thin that's coming off of there. That's impressive. For the next demonstration, I wanted to bring out a very tight wound rope. Get a little close up on this. And I'm actually not putting much pressure on that. You want to be careful when you're cutting the rope like this. And this is just sliding the knife through it. You put pressure on it.
Dada, I think you got all that rope.
So as you can see, whether it's cutting wood or it's cutting rope,
Wow.
this thing is cutting like a massive beast. Cutting, we're going to give this an absolute 10 out of 10. The next thing that we want to go over with this knife is feather sticking. So you're getting fine pieces, feather pieces. These things are thin. All up and down it. You're able to literally make very intricate details with your feather stick here. As always, my favorite way to feather stick is by the pull method. Feather sticking, there's no other option but to give this a 10 out of 10. Very, very, very impressed with it. So far, what do you think about this knife?
Cool.
Very cool or just cool? Very cool?
Yes.
All right, thanks a bunch, bud. The next category I want to go over is how well does this spine do scraping and scraping. I'm a little disappointed. It feels sharp. It feels sharp, but I'm not getting fine shavings off of it like I want. That might just be the tree. So we're gonna go ahead and move in with the stick and see if we can get some better shavings with that. Okay, we were able to get some pretty good fine shavings off of that. Once we got onto the cedar wood, you did a pretty good job. Cedar bark, I was a little disappointed, but we've had some pretty nasty weather, so that may have a lot to do with it, that the bark was just a little wet. So, for spine scraping off a tree, off of wood, for that, we're gonna have to give this on spine scraping an 8 out of 10. For the last classification that we want to work with this bushcraft knife, ferro rod. So it's doing pretty good. There you go. What do you think, Evan?
Cool.
You like fire? You can come look at it. So for ferro rod striking, I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10. Evan and I want to thank you for being here with us on Knife Reviews. You can find us on YouTube, Knife Reviews, Facebook group, Knife Reviews. Our email address is knives@knifereviews. If you have any questions, please email it to us. This knife is available on Amazon.com as well as a plethora of other choices. I've found that the cheapest price that I've found anyway has been on Amazon. If you find it somewhere else that it's a little bit cheaper, go ahead and put it in the comments, let people know. I absolutely recommend this. This has been, so far, the best factory knife that I've used and that we've put on our reviews. Have a wonderful day and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Do widzenia.